Magic the Gathering actually found me. So when I was in school, I had a bunch of friends, and with these friends, I played Dungeons and Dragons. One of these guys was playing Magic, so we started to play some multiplayer Magic. I got hooked, started to go to a shop. Then there were like pretty good people playing locally, like going to German nationals and that stuff. So I started to play, get friends with these guys, and then I kind of moved up the ladder from playing shop tournaments to playing PTQs. And back then, regionals was a big thing. So regionals, nationals, yeah, and that's how I got into tournament play. I won a PTQ, and then we went to a GP in Switzerland, and Dirk top 8 that, qualified for Proto Chicago, which was the same Proto that I was qualified for. Going to Proto Chicago, we had no idea how good we were, because suddenly we were playing against these Americans, which we didn't really have contact with before. And then Dirk won the Pro Tour, and I finished top 16. And at that point, we were like, okay, we are pretty good at this stuff. Like, we are on their level, we can play with them. And then in the same season, I played 5 GPs and won 3 of them. And at that point, we were kind of like, this is a thing, this is something we could be doing for a living for a couple of years. We are clearly good at this. We know we're good at this. We can hang out with the best. And that's how we got there, yeah.
Kai Budde, where to start? He is a true legend of this game. Like, I don't think there will ever be anyone that comes close to Kai.
The World Championship 1999 was the first World Championship I qualified for, and it happened to be in Japan. I've never been to Japan before. I mean, back then I was 18, so yeah, I didn't travel that much. I did top 8 that tournament, which obviously felt great. It was my first Pro Tour top 8. Back then we counted Worlds as a Pro Tour. And then when we saw the top 8, my mediocre standard deck lined up perfectly against everyone else. The final against Mark Lepine was still the fastest finals ever, I believe. It was best of 5, and I think it was finished in 15 minutes. So yeah, that felt really good, and I ended up snatching the Player of the Year title from John Finkel in the last minute, basically. So yeah, that was a great tournament. So my second Pro Tour top 8 was Chicago in 2000. That was a standard-only Pro Tour, so it was 14 rounds of standard, no other format involved. The top 8 was very strong. That was one of the stronger top 8s in the history of the game, probably. In the semifinal, I played against Brian Kibler in the trademark Dragon deck. I think he's still salty that he lost that match. I think it was a good matchup for him, but I got kind of lucky when everything played out. And yeah, then I beat Kamil Cornelissen, which is another of the very great Magic players of all time in the final. And yeah, 2 Pro Tour top 8s, 2 wins. It was a nice life back then.
My most enduring memory of Kai is actually from my first Pro Tour San Diego 2004. I walk into the tournament hall and I see Kai, Dirk, and Marco, the Phoenix Foundation, and I've read so much about these guys. I've followed Pro Tour coverage for years. It would have just blown my mind to learn that many years later, Kai would actually be on my team. I would play test with him. I would eat meals cooked by him. I'd listen to him to complain about things and then complain about different things. And it's just incredible, kind of the Magic journey that took Kai from being this guy I read about in coverage to someone who picked me up from the train station when I got to Amsterdam.
So the probably best city for me to play Magic in is Barcelona in Spain. I played 2 Pro Tours and the GP there. I top 8'd the Pro Tour, I won the GP, and then in 2001, I won the Pro Tour in Barcelona, which was all booster draft. At first, it was super smooth for me, but then I lost 2 rounds in a row, and I had to win the last rounds against a very good friend of mine, Markus Jöbstel. I did win, made top 8. From there, it was smooth sailing again. I had a great draft deck in the top 8. I beat a close friend in Patrick Mello in the semifinals, and then I played one of the really great players in the game, in Alan Comer, in the finals. But the matchups were so good for me, and yeah, I mean, that was third Pro Tour top 8, third win. So a special place for me are always team events. 2 of the closest friends in my life are Dirk Barbarowski and Marco Blume. I played a lot of team events with them. We did super well. One of them was the Pro Tour in New York in 2001. Again, teams, we played so much Magic together. We prepared so much for this stuff. We were really good at Team Rochester draft.
Yeah, Kai, he's obviously an incredible player, arguably the best to ever play the game. And when I started playing the Pro Tour, he won, the very first Pro Tour I played, he won. He beat me in my first GP and PT finals. And, even the first time I beat him, I was like kind of a small miracle. So that's kind of funny. I had a really good matchup, but I barely beat him. He just the Juggernaut, just incredible player. Just, it seemed like he could never lose. He would never lose in the top 8.
So my 5th Pro Tour top 8 happened in New Orleans, again in the year 2001. This time we actually had a great deck, and this was one of the events where Dirk thought we don't have a good deck, and he didn't actually travel. We ended up doing super well in the tournament. Our deck matched up against pretty much anything that other people brought. Yeah, it was super smooth sailing. Benedikt Klauser and me made top 8 with it. The top 8 matches, the quarterfinal and semifinal were not particularly close. The final was a very long game against another good friend of mine, Tomi Valamis. It was super close. In the end, I had to draw a Morphling at the correct time. I did, and I won that one. So now we're at 5 top 8s and 5 wins.
If Magic had to have a best player, we're so lucky that it turned out to be someone like Kai. Kai shows how we can use competition to bring out the best in ourselves. So for me, Kai stands for hard work, integrity, respect, honesty, fair play. Kai is one of my heroes.
So 1 year later, Boston 2002, another team pro tour. Everyone kind of saw that Dirk Bobrowski, Marco and me were favorite to win. Obviously, we weren't 50% to win, but we were the most likely team to win. Then we lost the first 2 rounds. At that stage, we had to win every round to win the tournament, which we ended up doing. So, okay. 6 pro tours, 6 pro top 8s, 6.
So Kai and I have a long history. He used to beat me a lot, as in 8 or 9 times in a row, until I finally stopped the losing streak. One day, I think it was after a GP Biarritz, he came to my house when I was living with my parents. And my mom asked him, are you Kai? Are you the German guy that beats my son all the time? He's like, yes. Please stop it.
Pro Tour Chicago 2003 was a limited Pro Tour, and it was Rochester Draft. Rochester Draft, most people probably don't know about it. You put a pack on the table and everyone picks a card. I was really good at Rochester Draft. Team Pro Tours are all done in Rochester Draft, so that was probably my strongest format. The Swiss, like the pre-eliminary rounds of the tournament, went super well. I think I was sitting at 11-1. And then the top 8 draft, I got very lucky, had an insane deck, and yeah, now we are at the 7 Pro Tour.
You know, it's funny, like I said, like there's always that question, John or Kai, John or Kai. As if we got to know each other for a little bit. You know, I went to him like, dude, Kai, they always said, I'm like, I have no clue. And he's like, yeah, I have no clue either. Like, you know, we both have no idea whatsoever. You know, however, I will definitely say that when you're looking at the GOATs, there is no doubt the Kai Budde is the Michael Jordan of Magic, because nobody's peak sustained dominance will ever be what he had. He won 7 Pro Tours. He won, I mean, it was like 3 in 1 year. You know, the only person I can think of like that is Michael Jordan. Like his peak and his dominance, I don't think will ever be, you know, replicated. You know, I might, you know, end up putting up another top 8 here, another top 8 there. But I'm in second place, I think, with 3 Pro Tour wins. Kai has 7. But Kai has 7. It's just, he's just incredible. And he's a lot of fun, and we've gotten to know each other really well. And, you know, and it's just been a real treat to get to know him.
So after my pretty good run of 7 Pro Tour wins, I started to slow down a little bit. People around me left the game. Marco and Dirk both quit playing professionally. I played a couple of more events, but eventually I also picked up a job and started to do other stuff. I was still playing a little bit here and there. Eventually I got voted into the Hall of Fame, which I'm very thankful for, which meant I had 3 Pro Tour invites. So I started to use these and play about 1 event a year because, I mean, I still love Magic, great game. 2010, I went to Pro Tour Amsterdam. I didn't prepare that much, but fortunately my good friend Gabriel Nassif tested with me, and he broke it with a white aggressive deck. Paul Rietzel was also working with us, and Paul actually ended up winning the Pro Tour, and Gabriel's deck carried me to an undefeated extended record, which meant I was in the top 8 of that Pro Tour as well, where I lost to Brett Nelson in the quarterfinal. I played about 1 event a year, didn't do so well for most of them. And then the Mythic Championship in Las Vegas came around, where I did very well. I think I finished 3rd or 4th, so I don't exactly remember how that worked out. But yeah, that was a high-profile event. It felt very good to have another top finish. And then fast forward to 2023, Barcelona, a modern Pro Tour, again working with the same people. We picked up a couple of new faces, but essentially the same group. Everything was great. I picked a great deck. Edgar Mahales built it for me. It was a Cascade Rhino deck. Again, my draft record was okay. My record in Modern was great. I picked up my, I believe, 10th or 11th Pro Tour top 8. It felt incredibly great after such a long time. That's 4 Pro Tour top 8s in 4 decades of playing Magic, which means I'm playing this game for a very long time. And yeah, that was awesome.
Kai just brings that organization to the room. He brings that respect and that knowledge, right? So if you're if you're doing something stupid, right? You make a bad play, or you bring a deck to the table that doesn't really make sense. Kyle will be straight up with you. He will shut that down. He will keep us on track, right? Like he is a no nonsense kind of guy. And when Kai speaks, you listen.
So I can't even imagine my life without Magic the Gathering. I picked it up when I was 15. I started to find friends, played Magic with them, found more friends. My entire circle of friends is essentially Magic players at this point. I got my job through Magic players. I'm still working with a lot of Magic players. I'm 44 years old. I'm playing the game since I was 15. I mean, I assume my life would have been completely different if I never got introduced to Magic. It's just incredibly important for me.
I think one of the things about Kai that really follows his career is how serious and how intense he is. And so no nonsense and so, intimidating. And one of the things I love most about Kai is when you get him to laugh. It is so unexpected, but it is so joyous and it is so heartfelt, and you feel like you just got a gold star. And I haven't done it nearly enough, and I hope I get to do it, again in the future. But it's those are the laughs you remember.
In life, everyone gets 15 minutes of fame. That's what people are saying. Obviously, for me, that's Magic. That's the only thing I'm well known for. There's 7 PT wins, there's 7 GP wins, there's 4 Player of the Year titles. One of the PT wins is a World Championship title. So these numbers might not be beaten. Right now, it looks like people are just so good at this game. There's so many great players. So that someone goes on a streak like that seems somewhat unlikely. I did get diagnosed with very likely lethal cancer a year ago. And that kind of makes you think about what you did in your life and what your accomplishments are. And in my case, that's clearly Magic. And I'm a tournament player. I'm very competitive. And these titles, these results, that's my legacy. And I'm incredibly proud of that.